Hello Aquarius, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. I have to not say weekly because we're a little off that right now, but I am moving, so it's taking me time to pack and I cannot just focus on doing the readings, although I would like to. One day that will happen again. So, Aqua Babies, we're going to do an energy check-in. We are going to look at your energy. I'm going to use an energy oracle card and a tarot card. We're going to look at energy outside of you, but it's not your energy. I'm very specific about that. It could be a situation approaching you. It could be a situation playing out around you. It could be a person, an animal, a thing, a place. It could be all sorts of things. And then in between those two energies, yours and this energy outside of you, what are these two energies creating? So that's what I'm going to look at. And I'm also going to pull out a card from the Return of Spirit Oracle deck to get an overall energetic theme for this reading. Is an extended at the end of this if you were drawn to it. The link is at the top of the description. In the extended, I continue to pull cards on your energy outside of you, and what these two energies are creating to see where it continues to go, like projecting it into the future. So let's get started. So we'll start with the Energy Oracle deck, Aquarius. Aqua babies, your energy outside of you, within your hemisphere, but it's not you, and what these two energies are creating. Oh, look, we have to start with this. Well, that deck is pre-shuffled. The Energy Oracle deck is really pre-shuffled. Now, let's get the overall theme here. See, I'm a little out of practice. It's been almost a full week since I've done a reading. Overall energy through this Return of Spirit Oracle deck for Aquarius's reading, this energy check-in for Aquarius. The overall energy theme wants to come out. Fearless. Ooh, nice. Aquarius. And what's the bottom? Intuition. Wow, really being guided by your intuition. You might be doing things, you're going towards things that people think, wow, man, that's crazy. Aquarius, what are you doing? And you're all like, I know what I'm doing. I'm good, I'm fearless in this. But, well, what is fearless, really? Because it's not what I would associate with the word of brave. Brave is someone who is, you know, facing their fears. Fearless is you ain't no afraid no more. You know, I'm not afraid no more. So let's see what this has to say here. A, B, C, D. Yes. Here we go. So bad with that. That's very magic. Fearless. Fearless. Fear is natural, normal, and healthy. It is a part of the human survival mechanism, but sometimes fear can take us over in an unhealthy way and stop us dead in our tracks. Dear soul, you have received this card today because the energetic imprint of fear is blocking your necessary progress forward in your life. I don't necessarily feel that for you, but let's see where this goes. The fact that you are experiencing fear right now is a sign that you are about to take a very important step forward on your path. It can also indicate that your path is being blocked from the negative, fearful energy you hold. This card brings the soft, loving energy of spirit to give you the emotional support you need. It is strengthening your heart center to help you overcome the limiting fear-based thoughts which are holding you back. Too much of your time has been spent thinking about the things you think or feel you need to do in your life. It is time to begin taking action, one baby step at a time. Where there is fear, there's often a lack of faith. It is time to put your trust in the hands of spirit. There is a reason you are feeling called to take action. There is also a reason why you are experiencing the blockage of fear as well. Quite often, the one thing we fear to do is the very thing which will lead us to our own empowerment. That is very true. Fear is the factor which we must all overcome in order to step into our power. Breathe as you relax your body and release your mind. Trust yourself. Trust in the divine. Begin taking the necessary steps forward despite your fear. Remember, fear is a feeling, not a reality. You cannot remain small any longer. Your heart is calling you onward. Be brave, be fearless, just go for it. I like that. I like how that ended. Yeah, this kind of energy reminds me so much of having to do a speech or some sort of what's the word? My brain has just been so busy packing things into sealing boxes. Come on, get the little cobwebs in the little gray cell, Cindy. You know, a speech or something like that. When you stand in front of people and you gotta talk. It just reminds me of that, or anything that you are anticipating doing that maybe puts you out of your comfort zone on some level for you. And it's, once you get doing it, I just remember that so much as a kid, like doing a speech in front of a class, you're like so nerve-wracked. Your palms were sweaty. It was like, oh, and then they called your name. Cindy, it's now your turn to come up and do your presentation. And then all of a sudden you just start doing it, and it might take a second or two, but then it's flowing. And the fear prior to that event was much stronger than when you're involved in it. And then when you get towards the end of whatever this is, it's almost gone. It's almost completely dissipated. And it's like holding yourself. If you have control over when you can do this speech or when you can do whatever this is that might have you in fear, the longer you keep yourself from doing it, the longer you stress out your system. There's I think a very accurate way in how that happens. Now, your intuition is at the bottom here. So the universe is likely trying to communicate to you or trying to get you to find some answers for yourself in conquering this. I also, as I was reading it, and I don't want to forget to say it, as I was reading it, I felt that some of you, because when I pulled this card, I didn't really feel like I was getting the energy that y'all were like in fear. Some of you might be, like some of you may have resonated with what I read, but I felt a lot more like, yeah, it's all good. I really conquered a lot of stuff. So maybe there's a little heads up that there might be something coming towards you that pushes you or is nudging you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. And maybe this may trigger some fear in you. But again, the longer you hold yourself in that position, the longer that you set yourself sitting in the energy of fear. So now let's go to the actual meats and potatoes of the reading. The actual meat and potatoes. Potato, tomato, potato. All right. Aqua Baby's energy outside of them, and what these two energies are creating. It'll be interesting to see what comes out if it brings up this overall card here. Your energy, envy, interesting. Energy outside of you, all tied up. What these two energies are creating. Healing, wow. Interesting. Okay, I want to pull a tarot card before I talk about anything. I really feel like this reading, Aquarius, it's the weirdest thing. I haven't experienced a reading like this in a while. I feel so much like this may not even resonate for you because I feel like it's something that's about to happen. It's such a weird, like my intuition is going off in this reading for you like that. It feels like a little heads up. Okay, your energy, you have envy in the Eight of Swords. The energy outside of you, but it's not you. I'm very specific about that. Is all tied up and the Three of Wands. The all tied up card, if I was to give it the symbolism of a tarot card, I would call it the Eight of Swords. There's a little bit of mirroring, a little here, in terms of feeling like not being able to move. Not being able to move towards something and being confined. Well, we're all right in the thick of the pandemic. So. The energy outside of you, though, because it has the Three of Wands, along with the all tied up, like there is some sort of inability to move, inability to take action, but there is the feeling of something coming in, the hope of something coming in. And I feel like the work is being done already, or it's being done. Somebody's doing something with the Three of Wands. Like this is actively preparing for the ships to come in. This is maybe even doing a little bit of magical magician, manifestation, master builder work. These ships will appear. Even if physically and mentally this energy that is outside of you is not able to move to what it wants to move towards, it's feeling confined and trapped, it's feeling perhaps even all tied up. Like that's a phrase that is often used with, hey, how you doing? Are you able to come? Oh, I'm all tied up, I can't do anything, I've got so much going on. Like it could be that too. Like there's just so many things going on. I want to say maybe this person's life that they can't, but they are preparing something, like getting the port ready for the ship to come in with the Three of Wands and that magic wand. Getting the port ready for the ship to come in. And probably doing it on a very creative or an imaginative way. And that's a form of their manifestation. Now I got to pull out clarifiers over here because you have envy and the Eight of Swords. This feels really, really isolated. I gotta say it. I mean, this energy is not quite so isolated that's outside of you. There is an inability to move. There is sort of at least the sense or the idea that there's lack of choice because they can't move to what they want to move towards, or they're tied up with other obligations and they can't. But like the envy card, this person is sitting in darkness and they're all in dark and everything looks all aglow and wonderful outside of where they are. And then this person is sitting, these two cards feel very much like not having much choice at all. But what the energies are creating are pretty damn cool. It's so unexpected, I want to say. The Healer of the Ages and the Queen of Wands. Both you and this energy outside of you are going through a healing process. Oh, I just had this vision. Okay. So this healing process, like this kind of energy, it's a little bit like a cut or a sore, something that you've acquired, and maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a lot of little cuts. Maybe when running through the woods, there was like a bumble bush or something that's got like thorns on it, wild roses, and you missed a couple. You didn't disinfect a couple of them. Other ones have healed. You've been going through healing something, but I'm just getting this almost as if a cut or something that was sort of missed, and it starts to become a little pustulous. I know it's gross, right? But that's what I saw. It starts to become a little pustulous. So with this envy card, I feel like this is in some way some sort of mechanism that triggers you. But because the healing card is here, there is healing that takes place. And it's almost as if scraping off a scab or doing something to allow I don't know why it had to get so gross like this, Spirit. Really nasty. It has to push the germ out. The germ has to be pushed. So for that to happen, like once that happens, then actual healing can take place. It can't heal if there's any kind of infection or in a foreign body, whether that's actual physical dirt or just germs of something in there. It can't heal. Your body cannot really heal until this comes out. So this is happening to trigger something in you to come out. Because this is really good. This is so good on both sides. like feeling really good, feeling really energized and dynamic. You're looking fine. You're creative. You're kind of harnessing the energy of the sun with this Queen of Wands. You just feel like with the dragon. And yeah, look at the fire that sits behind him. Very fiery. And this is so black, it's almost like coal. It's a little bit like the fire that's been put out and the coals have been sitting there. And you know, if you go back in the next morning after a campfire, you can hear a little crackle. If you listen really closely, you can hear that little tiny crackle in those coals. And you know that there's some heat, there's something going on in there. I guess like chemically in a sense, and also physically. Which would make sense. Pushing out the pus, physically heal. I did that, man. Aquarius. Let's get more about this envy and then this 8 of Swords. Maybe you feel even more trapped than most people. Or you're seeing other people that have some sort of options here and you don't. Let's give more detail about this envy card for Aquarius. Envy? Envy. Yeah, you just, what is this? Okay, the Knight of Swords, the Page of Wands, the 3 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Swords. It does seem like, again, I do want to say it, if you're not feeling it, I feel like this is a bit of a heads up, that you're going to experience something or maybe see something or someone you know, and I don't want to say that envy is like, not like that, doesn't feel like that dirty kind of, because envy can have different levels. And I think envy is also, like any human emotion, is really there to benefit us in some level, as long as that we can be mindful and aware of it, and like how to work through it. So envy can also appear as something to make you take note of things that you may or may not want in your life. And if it's kind of waking something up inside of you, oh, that would be really nice. Like, you don't necessarily have to be sending a stink eye to someone. That's what I want to like really clarify. It does not feel like you're sending a stink eye to anybody here. It feels like you are, or you're about to experience some sort of situation where it feels like other people are able to charge forward. Other people are able to initiate like really exciting communication, ideas, share their ideas. But like with the 7 of Swords, then like, no. You might even feel like you're trapped doing this too. I don't know, it's really unusual energy. So what is the 8 of Swords? Because this is you. The 8 of Swords? The 8 of Swords. The Hermit, the Star card, and there you are. The 4 of Cups and the 3 of Cups. Okay. So I feel now that this is the universe kind of talking to you. If you're feeling like you're limited in your options here, if you're feeling like you're kind of held back from things you want to do, this has been coming out. When will this pandemic be over? I'll start moving again. It's a time for healing. It's a time for looking deep within here, and it's a time for healing. Now, look what it heals. It heals, you know, I want to say that it feels like from 4 to 3 of Cups, it's healing what may have been missed by you in the past, or things that you missed out on, but it's making it really good. It's at least allowing you to see the potential of opportunity around you. Because without going into this really internal healing process, you wouldn't have even recognized these things as opportunities for you in the past, because they weren't the things that you may have resonated with before doing this healing process. It's your deeper self trying to connect with you and say, hey, let's spend a little time here and try to push away some of the baggage and the labels and the concepts that we've developed along the way here that, you know, wrapped up in stuff. I'm going to say it's very interesting because I heard someone say something I didn't think I would hear them say, you know, which isn't new. So here that is. A new perspective. And I really think everything that everyone's been going through globally is a time for that. Now, yesterday I took my son tobogganing. So we're allowed to do that here. We're allowed to go, the kids are allowed to go tobogganing. And all the parents, we stand around, we have our masks on, we're like 5-6 feet away and we're talking. And one of the moms, she said, I think about all of the extracurricular things that we used to do. I don't know why the fridge always needs to make ice when you're talking. And I think their son was involved in like 2 different hockey leagues, and the daughter did dance and a whole bunch. And it just seemed like they were never home. And I know a lot of people had lifestyles like that. You were always just so busy, but really, you're so busy, are you trying to stay ahead of doing something like this? And then she literally said, I can't imagine doing that again. I don't think I would want to. And I actually think that's a really healthy thought process. And I see that from the perspective because I used to have a children's art studio. So people would sign up, and I remember I had a couple kids that would come into the studio and they would come in right after, so they finished their school, and then right after school finished, the parent would trek them off to like some sort of music lessons, piano lessons or something. And then right after that, then they would come in and do art. And then they would often even do something else. The parent would bring dinner for them to eat while they were doing the art class. And then after that, they would go and do one more thing. They might do math tutoring or something, and then they would go to bed. And there would be times I could tell that kid was so tired, and I wouldn't push him to do anything. I was like, you want to take a nap? Like, just too much sometimes. The world was really crazy busy. And I was myself tried not to sign my son up for too much. We might do swimming and we might do skating, but maybe not both at the same season. I kind of feel like, you see how that parent's perspective changed so much? And they're seeing things in a new way because they're kind of becoming a new person, as we all are. That's what I feel like is going on for you here. And the envy, this could really be, because I said, any human emotion, I really feel, as long as we can not allow it to take over us and completely take over, you know, how we want to react to situations. We want, like, the mindful. It's there for a reason. And I think it's actually, if it's not appearing for you now, it's going to appear for you in the future. But looking and seeing something or some things that in the past you may not have thought you wanted that, or you wanted to pursue that, or you were interested in that. There's been a change and an awakening process for you, or there is going to be even more. So the energy outside of you is all tied up. Why is this energy all tied up? Why is this energy outside of Aquarius all tied up? It's unknown, and they have a lot of shit going on. The Moon and the Ten of Wands. Gosh. There is someone has some sort of fear about releasing heavy responsibility. Something that feels like a lot of heavy responsibility. What is this heavy responsibility? The heavy responsibility in this all tied up card. Well, they're not going to give us too much information about it. My son is sneaking around getting his laptop computer. The Nine of Swords. Someone has a lot of fear here about releasing the burden that they carry within, and it's mental. This is very much a mental tied up, which makes a lot of sense because it reminds me of the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords can be about mostly a mental imprisonment that we put ourselves into. But the Three of Wands. So on some level, there's an energy outside of you that is breaking through in a way that it couldn't. It almost reminds me of, like, I'm picturing like plasticine that's been pushed into a little box and it's being squeezed from all sides, and all of a sudden it can't anymore, and it actually pokes through the little seams in the box. Like, it finds a way. The pressure, the force being applied from a situation or circumstances that cause some level of stress can sometimes lead us into an area of thinking or resolving a problem that we wouldn't have gone down before. This pressure was applied like this. The Three of Wands, the Three of Wands. Oh, the World. So some sort of major cycle change here. There's a huge shift. You know, you could even be dealing with someone who hasn't really done much. Or it doesn't seem like they've been doing much. Because there's been some sort of mental anxiety that they've been going through about some sort of heavy burden that they're carrying. And the fear is based upon, oh, fearless. Huh. That makes a lot of sense. As I started reading the book, guys, remember, I was saying, I don't know. I feel more like you're not. But this is to signify, this card is to represent, like, the overall energy of this reading. So there's something in the past in regards to someone outside of you where a fear about something, I don't know what their fear is. We can try to figure out what that is here. We have the Goddess of the Moon on the bottom, and we have the High Priestess on the bottom, and then everything is in reverse. These two cards almost go hand in hand. Like, this is someone really, like, grasping the unknown, the Goddess of the Moon, and the High Priestess is kind of grasping the unknown. There's a big cycle change for someone. If someone is going through, it's almost like they've been squeezed from so many sides. It's caused pressure points to pop out. You know what I'm saying, right? So that little plasticine getting squeezed by the box. That there's only one way through this. It's almost like an evolutionary process. If there's a group of animals that are being, like, stalked or attacked or driven a certain way, either they're going to just become extinct, or there's going to be some kind of adaptation that comes through that changes the game. That's what I feel like this. Some sort of adaptation that comes through that changes the game here. So for you, though, I think it's just to be aware of, if you are starting to have, like, new feelings about things that you didn't have before. Like, oh, I was never really interested in that before. And now I kind of am, but I don't feel like it's a possibility for me. Or how do I get that? I didn't. Be aware that you might be going through some shifts and changes in terms of what interests you, or what you're drawn to, or what you would like to have for yourself or achieve for yourself. You're being squeezed too in a box, but it's happening in a little bit of a different way. The pressure points don't feel so extreme. This feels like a tightening. Like, these three cards are not easy cards to be dealing with. So these pressure points almost feel a little more acute. Where your pressure points are a little more drawn out. A little more drawn out here. So the Healer of the Ages, the Healer of the Ages, the King of Cups, a lot of feeling and emotion here, really stable feeling and emotions, really stable mindset. Intuition. Intuition is screaming so loudly in this reading because, I mean, it's the underline of this deck. Goddess of the Moon, And the High Priest, all the underlying cards to me have something to do with intuition and navigating the unknown. And navigating the unknown, I mean, if you don't know, you don't have all the answers. And see, she's got a whole bunch of books piled up behind her, but she's not even looking at them. She's looking at her tarot deck. She's really focused on her crystal ball. And a little kitty cat is trying to, I guess, are those roans maybe? In the little pouch? Answers are outside of the typical norm where you would find answers. That feels very relevant to how things have been lately. Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands. I always like to say the Queen of Wands is really good at marrying. Ooh, the Devil. Wow, that's a lot of sexual energy. The Queen of Wands and the Devil. Is there anything else to go with this? The Eight of Swords. Oh. The Eight of Swords is keeping... It's really coming out, man. The feeling of entrapment. The Eight of Swords and the Devil. Oh, maybe I just go back to packing boxes. It's hard. Oh my gosh. The cards on the other end are good. What's going on underneath is heavy stuff. Heavy stuff here. But it's creating a brand new day, so to speak. A brand new day with a brand new perspective. I keep getting almost like having to pull off, scratch out a scab to allow something to come out. Like one last little bit of something inside to come out. And that's what I feel like this Envy card has to do with here. I'm going to ask one more clarifier for the Fearless card. And then I'm going to go do your sentence. The Fearless card. The Fearless card. The Queen of Wands and the Seven of Cups. There's that Seven of Cups. There's that Queen of Wands again. It could be something that you really want. Maybe you've never wanted something like this before. You've never wanted something like this before. You're so attracted to it. So attracted to it. And not being able to go to it. I mean, that in itself is producing just such a toxic feeling for you. And someone else, though. I'm going to be honest. I'm having difficulty to determine who is who in this reading. Because the mirroring is so extreme. But the possibility, the fearless, there's, you know, because if the Seven of Cups is doing this the wrong way or taking the wrong approach, I think that's why the intuition is here. The intuition guards to the moon, the High Priestess. You can't find these answers in the book. You can only find them within. There's the Two of Wands. There's the first step. Like imagining what could be there for you. Imagining what the world could hold. There you go. Wow. Interesting energy. It's almost as if it's been a while since I've done this. There's just so much that wants to come through. All right, Aquarius. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to go do the extended. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.